Hello and welcome to the Designing Music Now review of Albion One. That's a wonderful orchestral library from Spitfire. And I'm going to just start off by playing basically everything. This will be the high brass in a couple of different articulations, the strings in a couple of articulations here, as well as some low brass, mid brass, woods high, and woods low. These are the main sections of the orchestral part of this library. So without further ado, let's begin. Pretty darn nice. So it really sounds massive. It's got a very British feel to it for some reason. You know, I've recently reviewed some other libraries like Metropolis Arc, and it has a very, Metropolis Arc has a very, that sort of massive German feel to it. This has a, especially in the woodwinds and the brass, I notice a lot of, I don't know what it is that makes it British, but it's a beautiful sound. Of course, these are a lot of long articulations. So let's try a couple of these just by themselves. Let's try the brass high and see what that sounds like. And those are octaves. Let's try them short octaves. I'm going to blow your mind here and add in some of the other features, like all of the extra mics in the mix. Takes just a second for that to load. That's that, and let's try some of the presets, which is a nice feature. Let's go with the power. It probably is what I have in there pretty much. Usually adds all of the mics in there for you. Now let's check out the brass, the strings by themselves. This is just the shorts here, spiccatos. Okay, let's check out the strings, and I'm going to play two different articulations at the same time. So that's playing with spiccato and spiccato, staccato. Now let's add the pizzicato and see how that sounds. Pretty nice. Now we'll try the colegno. Now let's go with some, basically, let's just keep the spiccato on, but then add the longs. Notice with the strings you have a pretty wide range. Okay, that's the strings. Now let's go on to listening to the low brass by itself. Okay, let's try the low brass here with all of the mics on. That sounds really, really nice. Now we'll try the mid brass. Also really nice, and the high woodwinds now. So let's see what articulations we get here. Let's start with the shorts. Really, really nice, and we'll try the shorts arranged. Now back to the longs. Long arranged. I love their woodwinds. So let's try the low woodwinds now. The lows are really nice. Try the shorts. So those are the orchestral patches. Of course, we're going to go into a lot more detail in a little bit by showing all of the various individual articulations, patches, and things that you can do here in terms of the, the dynamics, release, tightness, lush verb, and expression. We'll check all that stuff out very shortly. But first, I wanted to show you some of the other things that are included in Albion One. Okay, now this is a really cool feature that Albion One comes with, and that is called the Stephenson Steam Band. And I'm just going to play a little sample of that for you. So that was a combination of 3 different patches. One is called Enormo Glass MW Bottom. That's for mod wheel. And there's this awesome pad 2 and the 8,000 piece choir hold down mod wheel. Let's just hear what that sounds like. That's that component. Now let's check out the pad. Okay, let's try the third component here, which is called the Enormo Glass Mod Wheel Bottom. Okay, let's listen to all 3 of them together again. Pretty sweet. So that's just a quick overview of the Stephenson Steam Band. Okay, let's check out the next component, which is the Darwin drums, and this will be the percussion ensemble. Those are the subs. Let's try the low hits. Very nice. A bit of tuned percussion there. Here are the mids. Together. Now with lows and the highs. Now let's let's try the sticks. Cool, in this part I really like the metal. Very, I guess, aleatoric sounding and very spooky. Let's try it all together here. Very, very, very nice. That's just some of the features. Let's now try Easter Island. Notice this has a lot of nice helpful tips on it. So you've got some velocity response, global, scroll that up a little more. The global instrument mix mode, you can, let's just show you here. You can actually toggle that off. You can change the velocity setting. Well, let's listen to it on the normal setting here. There's a lot of really deep sounding things. Let's go to the exponential. So you can change that. You can change, maybe not on this particular patch. Yeah, here's the stereo width, for example. And the stereo pan. Nice. And then over here you can have, what is this one? It's the stereo modeler. You can collapse the mic signals to mono and pan. So that was Easter Island. Now let's check out the hypertoms. And you've got them into 4 different sections here. The octave, low, high, tom low, and tom high. So here's how they sound. Try them individually. Octave low. Then nice. Then this is the low toms. This would be the high toms. Okay, here is XXL Percussion, the 4th component of the Darwin drums. Let's take a listen. That's pretty large. Definitely see some use for that in games. So that's Darwin Percussion, and it is really great for battle scenes and some chaotic sounding horror scenes, for example. Really nice set of drums. Now, for the final thing, let's go over the Brunel Loops. Let's check those guys out. The easiest way to do this is just play a few of the lovely presets. And then we'll go into more depth of how the eDNA engine works in the more in-depth walkthrough. Let's just check out a few of these alarm hi-hats, for example. Kind of an Indian style sound to it. Notice you can change the oscillator here. What that's doing, you've got a tape deck A and tape deck B. So this is going from glass bubbles to combi mix. And when you're on this side, play those. See, now you're playing those. And each one of these tape decks has their own sets of things that you can manipulate here, like the volume wobble, or it's the wobble on this one. It's not going to affect it unless you turn the rope up here. And then you can do a pitch wobble. Notice this gate sequencer. This row across the top handles the A banks, and the row across the bottom handles the B banks. That's why there's a little bit of syncopation there in it. And that's why you here you would hear the pitch wobbles now more. Select a different patch, like this one, for example. You can hear that a little more. Okay, so let's hear what it sounds like by default, right? Now let's go with the pitch wobble and add that effect in. Sorry. Huh. Here it is. It's got bounced around. Now let's try it. We got pitch wobbling. We can also add this volume wobble. That dubstep sound. Or go this way. I believe you can even, no, it'd be great. Yeah, you can. You can assign a MIDI CC to that. So, for all kinds of wild, wacky stuff. Let's listen to a couple more of these. Combi Plucks, for example. And each of these segments down here are different performances. Probably that was affecting this. Let's see. No, not doing anything up there. This automates it. Turn it back on. See that? You can increase it. Whoa, that's a really slow. And then if you go down, you can go really fast. Like a Cylon. Anyway, lots of other things you can do here, which I'll go into more in the in-depth stuff. But also down here, you've got FX motors, things like that you can add in. Again, rather complex, but basically just by going to the motor FX, you can then start adding things like a phaser to it. Or you can affect either layer A, layer B, or all, and turn it on again. Affect those things. So there's all kinds, whether they be master or just affecting A, B, and so on. And each one you can turn on and off here. And you can even do sends, and that affects this aux bus. And if you have sends on, then you can affect another layer. So super complex sound design type of stuff here with the Brunel Loops. But I just showed you so far the extreme warped Brunels. Let's go on with the organic ones and try a couple of those. Clay pot, favorite. Here we go. Turn that up a bit. If we want to oscillate between clay pot, normally this is going between, say, clay pot piano to forte. But now let's oscillate them. And you can increase that speed. Actually decreases it. And obviously, you know, all these little ropes around here are things that you can actually adjust, which affects how far it'll go to the right and left and so on. So Brunel Loops, really awesome. There's also the organic ones we showed you, organic mutations, and then warped Brunel Loops. So let's just check out one of those. The bell waves sounds like this. So lots of nice textures that you can then use to add into your mixes. All right, hope you enjoyed this overview. I know it's rather long, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about because there's a lot of great features of the Albion One. Once again, if this were something that you had to go to a desert island and you only had one set of one library that you could bring, this might be the one that you'd want to choose. All right, this has been the overview. Be sure to check out the more in-depth, detailed walkthroughs of each one of these various parts of Albion One.